We kunnen daar naar binnen toe. Ja. In ieder geval winkels nieuw. Ja, dus die is ingestopt en die wilde gewoon niet weggaan. Die kan blijven kijken de hele tijd bij.
Are dead and about 100 more hurt after a terrible fire tore through a bar during a New Year's Eve party in Switzerland.
Shanley Painter joins us now with the details. Good morning, Shanley.
Hey, good morning. So it happened at a bar in Crans, Montana, a luxury ski resort town some 2 hours from the Swiss capital of Bern. Police say an explosive fire ripped through a bar called Le Constellation during a New Year's celebration. Several dozens of people are presumed to have been killed. One local outlet reporting up to 40 people are dead. Police say around 100 people are also injured, some very seriously.
Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot hide it from you. We are shaken by what happened last night. On behalf of the command of the police, I extend my deepest sympathy to the victims and the families affected by this tragedy.
Now, the cause of the reported explosion and subsequent fire is unknown at this time. Swiss authorities say this was not a terror attack. We're also learning local hospitals' intensive care unit, one of them, is full, so victims are actually having to be transferred to other area hospitals. And this is an area that is heavily visited by tourists from all over the world. Officials say that several nationalities are among the victims in this tragedy that is continuing to develop. And we're continuing to learn more, guys, as well.
Yeah, Chanley, you know, that last point there you raised about the international tourists, for our viewers to understand, this is one of the most internationally renowned ski resorts. They routinely have some of the Olympic competitions to qualify there. So it's likely that this location, this bar they were celebrating, would have been a top sort of Swiss Alps destination for tourists, not just the locals.
Exactly. In fact, they're asking locals to be very cautious because the emergency services there are so inundated with victims at this time. But you're correct. I mean, this is a world-renowned resort town. In fact, next month, they're holding the World Championship in alpine skiing. So again, people from all over the world visiting, especially for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day holiday there, where this is a very popular bar where this explosion and fire happened. And the authorities are saying that with so many victims from so many different countries all over the world, it's going to take time to find out and identify who is deceased and who was injured, and then find out where they're from. So this is going to be a long investigation.
Shanley, do we have any more?
All right, so they had their own little Great White. You remember when Great White played at that bar and over 200 people died that night? I watched that live as that was going down. That was horrible. But they had a similar situation here. Over 40 people dead in a bar fire. So it's tragic, very horrible. Yeah, that was called The Station when that happened with the Great White concert at the station, that little bar they had like 400 people in there. All the exits were closed. No one could get out. So they had to. But what's crazy is this happened in Switzerland. You had this huge bar fire, but then also the church burning down in Amsterdam. Ain't that out there in Switzerland or something like that?
Information on what caused the blaze. I think I saw the officials said they used the French phrase for backdraft and how, a flame may ignite some combustibles and it kind of ripped through it. Do we know any more about it?
We don't know an official cause. The authorities aren't saying yet, but as you said, there has been some local stations or reporters that have, I don't know if it's speculated or if they have some sources there that say maybe this was an explosion that possibly started with some pyrotechnics that were happening in the building, or even it started in the basement and then the fire, it was rapidly and violently spread throughout a building in a bar that held up to 400 people at this venue. So many hundreds of people are affected by this.
Chanley, I know you say they're still trying to identify folks. Do you have any, has there been any report on Americans being there?
Not yet. We haven't had any word on that, but we could probably assume that, yes, there would be people from the U.S. there at this world-renowned ski resort in the Swiss Alps.
All right, Chanley Painter, thank you very much. We'll continue to follow this story. Hopefully we'll get an update from officials later today, but it's a great point. Americans certainly could have been there because this is a top destination in the Swiss Alps.
Yeah, it's tragic regardless. I mean, life is life and precious.
I've never been there, so I couldn't tell you. I know they've been transferring a bunch of my money to Switzerland, but my money has been there, but I've never been there. Yeah, so that happened. Well, let me see if I can see any more on it. Let's see. Swiss ski resort fire, 40 killed, 100 hurt. Wow, that is something. And the church going up, that could have been from fireworks. It's possible. I'm not going to say it's not possible. It's very possible, but it's also possible someone's seen the opportunity and started it on fire to burn it down, so they rebuild it like they did in the Vatican or whatever out there. And wherever that one huge church was, the astronomical money was contributed to rebuild the church, which we found out all the money that they collected for the church, they could have built 50 of them. And so we know some money was probably pocketed because it was like $800 billion or something. All right, there you go, folks. Be safe. Always be safe when you're handling fireworks. Now, they're saying this this fire at the lounge at the venue or something where they had this. They mentioned Backdraft, right? We all seen that movie with Kurt Russell, another great movie. Backdraft. That's where stuff can ignite and there not even be a flame. Chemicals or the air temperature just right with some kind of a chemical, and it erupts itself. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I was just bringing you some news. I woke up this morning and seen Icamil was on this case already. So I was like, dang, what happened? 40 people passed away at a bar at a venue or something. Fire, I had to see what it was all about. All right, you ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. What a night it was, huh? I'll tell you what, these countries and everything, last night, that program, we were watching the fireworks. That was unbelievable. All right, you folks have a great night. God bless. Now remember, be good to each other and don't monkey with any of our people, then you should probably be okay, I think. Have a good day. I'll be back with more intel as it unfolds.